Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning on the west side of the map playing in blue we've got LoueMT playing as the English. And his opponent in the southeast playing in red we've got David Kim, also known as Puppypaw, playing as the Order of the Dragon. Welcome everyone to Cliffside. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're having a great day. Hopefully you have a great match. I mean, English versus the Order of the Dragon, what is not to like? Two fantastic players in Age of Empires 4. Puppypaw, careful of your scout. He notices, gets out in the way. Just in time. Well, I mean, to be fair, it was never in doubt, really. Either way, this matchup, definitely an interesting one. I like this matchup because the English are kind of a weird civilization now, actually. I've got to say, the change that they've had with the Free King has really switched things up. We're seeing a lot more often. Possibly going to expecting to see the Abbey of the Kings today. Possibly. We'll have to see. And it's a situation where the English can be played in various different ways now. You know, we've been accustomed to the Longbowman Rush, the Council Hall opening. It's still very viable. But we're seeing things a bit mixed up now. Sometimes you can go for the Abbey of the Kings, the King, into a second town centre, maybe a castle age, going for relics, that kind of thing. It's a definitely interesting one to think about. Especially when you factor in the Order of the Dragon, a civilization that it's a bit slow to get going. Units are very expensive, can't make too many of them too quickly. But there are certainly civilizations that do still love to get the relics with the Regent's Cathedral. I feel like the English can do a lot. This is something really interesting to talk about, actually. So, historically, English going up against the HRE, it's been about HRE getting to the castle age, get the relics, and the English trying to deny that. And the way that they denied it is not by going castle age themselves. They never really could match it. The timings, that is. So they usually make a lot of units to protect the relics, do some pressure, try and deny the castle age from the HRE as much as possible, as quickly as possible. But now we have a different impact with the Order of the Dragon. The Order of the Dragon can't make as many units to contest the early pressure from the feudal age from the English, so maybe the English feudal age can be a bit stronger. Having said that, with the Abbey of the Kings and going to a castle age, the castle age timing for the English is actually not too bad. Bear in mind you've got a free unit to try and delay the Order of the Dragon. Now that king, what it does is a lot more than you think. It forces the Order of the Dragon to be a bit more protective, maybe drop in outposts preemptively because they kind of have to try and protect the gold. It forces them into maybe a barracks as well to get spearmen up. They can't really just allow the king to roam freely, unchallenged. So the threat of the king forces the enemy into spending units, thus delaying their castle age time. It's an interesting thing to think about. And of course, you know, you can force the enemy to delay their castle age with longbows as well. We'll see what ends up transpiring in this game. It is going to be the Abbey of the Kings, and obviously the Ark and Chapel. I say obviously, actually, to be fair, with the Order of the Dragon, it's not always that common. We do see a bit of a, you know, a cheeky minework play here now and again. The Ark and Chapel still pretty decent. Increases the gather rate by 15% on top of the bonus of the gilded workers that already have a gather rate increase of 28%. Villagers though going north, looking to... Wait, where are they off to? Are they off to the boar? It looks like it. It's a good spot. Oh no. So guys, if you've been following the channel recently, maybe I'll address it here in the Dark Age whilst we're here. So the English do have a White Tower Rush strategy, which I kind of well, I did it, I was doing it, and it's been refined quite heavily. And it works incredibly well when players don't scout. So I actually managed to get myself up to Conqueror 2 level. It's no joke, just with this one strategy. The strategy unfortunately doesn't work against Mongols, but against other civilizations, it does have a good chance of working. So yeah, Ghosty Meow in chat, on Twitch chat, just said that unfortunately it's been White Tower Rush today. But hey, look, if you scout it, make units early, intercept the villagers, you'll be fine. It really is all about scouting. So I'd say guys who were upset with it on YouTube and whatnot, I'm doing you guys a favor. I'm forcing you guys to scout out. If anything, you should thank me. I'm forcing you to play better. That's how we should look at it. Make sure you scout. Gives you information. You have to react. That's what you got to do in RTS. So yeah, you can thank me later. Thankfully, it's not as broken as people make out. It can be stopped pretty well. You just got to change your game plan sometimes. And make sure you scout. Scout, 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 scout. Speaking of scout, that's something that Puppypaw will want to keep quite close to this English king, making his way across the field. Going to be looking to try and do some damage, delay the Order of the Dragon as much as possible. He's charging on in. Oh no, puppypaw. He didn't build the outpost preempt. Well, he is building it, but he's going to get it up in time, but should lose a villager out of this. Does snipe one. I would like to say a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what I would say, I think I'm getting a bit of a trend of saying this now, actually, but what I'd say, if you've been watching a couple of casted games, you've been enjoying it, make sure you do subscribe so that you catch the next ones. But also, I'm trying to make a push for maybe getting some sponsorship, so subscriber counts kind of help at times. So make sure you are subscribed on YouTube if you enjoy the content, but only if you enjoy the content. You don't want to subscribe to channels that you don't enjoy the content for, obviously. Adding in a couple of longbows, so it looks like it's definitely going to be a kind of a heavy feudal age presence here for the English. There it is, there's a double archery range. Yo, Electric Pulse, thank you for the subscription, I appreciate it. Thank you, very, very kind of you. Appreciate it, dude. Right, villagers on gold, rather. 4 of them, 5 of them. Also being pressurized, and this is the value of having the king and longbows. It actually often feels that one outpost is not enough, and the placement of it is a little bit awkward as well. Like, sure, it protects it from this angle, but this part's still exposed. Longbows might actually be able to range this as well. It's always a bit of concern. There we go. They're threatening. I think he's kind of baiting him, right? Louis just wants the puppypaw to keep an eye on this location. You force him to garrison the villages. Causes a lot of idle time. Yeah, this is definitely going to delay any sort of castle age play. And it means that actually the English can have a really good spot. Going to be forcing out stable and some gilded horsemen. Which, to be fair, kind of hard counter these longbows. Longbows again, just idling villagers. It's exactly what we want to do. And even if you don't kill them, actually idling Order of the Dragon villagers is really significant. Because, of course, they take longer to train because of the fact that the gather rate is higher. So every villager that's kind of idled, it's a much bigger proportion of the economy as to say if an English villager is idled. Not to be underestimated. It's a good spot here, though, for the villagers. They can also mine gold if they need to. Nice bit of a switch over to food and gold as they need. Looks like LoueMT is going to be walling up, maybe getting a castle age behind this, actually. Staying one town centre, which is curiously enough. I mean, sometimes we do see players go for a second TC, but it looks like that's going to be a bit more of an investment into feudal age. Especially with siege engineering popping on their way. Could be looking to get some of those rams. Now 3 gilded horsemen on the field. Took a bit of time to get them out. They're expensive. Take a while to train. They are made, and mining camp deleted. Puppypaw might need to pull these villagers away because, with only one outpost, it's definitely not going to be enough to defend. Gilded horsemen. I mean, I like the fact that Puppypaw has actually kept these units secret, right? Some people will look to try and attack early, but Puppypaw realizes that there's a timing to this. There's a timing where actually English will be pretty dangerous in the push. We're slowly getting to that timing, but if he shows his hand, it might force the English into spearmen. And so I love this play by Puppypaw, keeping the gilded horseman secret for as long as possible. Secret has been given away, though. So those longbows kind of have to back away. Like, I think Puppypaw should be safe here. There's 9 longbows there, but the repairs coming out on the outpost, and these longbows are gone. That's a lot of them. 9 of them. Horsemen will decimate them, and it's only now that I suspect Louis will be adding in a barracks. So it was a well-kept secret, and the secret keeping it has paid off here for Puppypaw. There's the barracks. In reaction. Double barracks, in fact. Now, I might be able to escape with a couple, but it'd be tricky. He's body blocking. In fact, I don't think he's going to escape. He's going to escape with maybe 1. Only 1. That's a big pick off there by the Gilded Horseman, I gotta say. And that's bought him a lot of time. Now he can actually build the economy freely. And whilst he has had a bit of a tough time with the longbowman, it has forced him into a transition onto farms, which is not so terrible when you factor he's got the Ark and Chapel. So food income should be pretty good for him. How's it going, Tadeus? In chat? Yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to scouting, right? He didn't know about the stable, I don't think. And so he didn't have any spearmen prepped. It just, I think in Age of Empires recently, in the most recent meta, it really has all come down to scouting. Whether it be, the White Tower rush from the English, or even just knowing what to transition to. But I mean, you know, it's still early stage in the game. The push has been stopped. But with Spearman possibly popping out soon. King died, by the way, around the right side. Sniped by the horseman. LoueMT busy looking at other things, and he should be able to keep his economy safe, though. LoueMT getting the farms himself. A lot of them, by the way. Alright, slowly but surely. Oh, hello. What's going on here? It's going to be the Burger of Palace from puppypaw. This is kind of unexpected, like, because he has... This is really unexpected, because he's forcing... I'm surprised by this, in a way. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out, but the reason why I'm surprised is because with the horseman on the field, LoueMT can't really venture out, right? He has to keep his infantry back at home. Because he has to keep his infantry back at home, that allows puppypaw to maybe pick up some of those relics, but instead, going for the Burger of Palace, he's doubling down. He's going to be looking to be aggressive, and I don't think I remember the last time seeing the Order of the Dragon go for a Burgrove. I gotta say. Holy moly. Thank you, by the way, for the follow. Feed the feet. I hope your feet are well fed. Not that you feed feet, but I don't know about feeding feet. Maybe it has another connotation. Who knows? Either way, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome on in. I love the name. Horseman diving in a little bit. Should be able to absorb a lot of the Townsend of Fire. Bear in mind, he doesn't actually have a blacksmith, and I think that's something that's okay for the Order of the Dragon, believe it or not. Because these units have such big base HP pools, 250 HP, the extra armor, whilst it's really beneficial, like, it'll help, no doubt, the amount that it helps the Order of the Dragon units is significantly curtailed compared to other units, of course, from other civilizations. Speaking of which, the English civilization units diving in a little bit too deeply, too close for comfort, might lose a spearman on retreat, manages to get out of there, actually, with all of them, but with lowered HP. And so certainly the value you get from blacksmith upgrades for the Order of the Dragon units are somewhat, you know, less effective, but still, every little bit helps if you can afford it. And the Burger of Palace, I actually really love this landmark for the Order of the Dragon. The reason why I say that is because it gives you a really good discount, 30% faster, but also 30% cheaper. And considering how expensive these units are, it's really powerful. So when you think about tech up times and the power spikes you get, like, it's one thing getting into the Castle Age, but you've got to be able to afford the units. And the Order of the Dragon units so expensive, it's actually really hard to afford them, right? But he's got a 30% discount. And that discount could be pretty epic. Man at Arms gonna be hacking and slashing against the Spearman longbows. It's kind of crazy to see how much value 3 Man at Arms are getting against this. Now he will lose one of them most likely, but it's gonna. Okay, he's adding in a couple of crossbows. I gotta say, a lot of players play Order of the Dragon, but I love the way puppypaw plays Order of the Dragon. He has a really unique style. He does this a lot, actually. I can't remember that. To be fair, have I seen him go for the Burger? He might have actually, but I see him do this a lot. He goes a lot of Man at Arms into crossbows. And the reason why I love this play is I feel crossbows is one of the best units, if not the best units, for the Order of the Dragon. The reason why I say that, the Order of the Dragon as a tempo civ is quite slow to get going. It takes time to build up the army. And so by the time you have a significant army of any unit type, you're like 20 minutes into the game, in which case you're thinking about Imperial Age. And so scalability becomes a really important feature of the Order of the Dragon. And as scalability goes, I think the Gilded Crossbowmen are probably the most scalable unit for the Order of the Dragon. The reason why I say that is because of one particular upgrade, which actually, considering the throwing a spanner in the works, puppypaw doesn't get. And it is Bodkin Arrow. Bodkin Arrow from the Minework Palace. In fact, can he get it from the archery range though? I'm kind of curious to see that. If he can get it from the archery range, that'd be huge. He can't, but he can get scale armor, to be fair. That's more for the archers, of course. But certainly, crossbowmen are a really good scalable unit. The reason why, not even without Bodkin Arrow, is because the fact that they can do a lot what archers can do, but they can take out heavily armored units, and we know how the English love their man-at-arms with armored clad. Yeah, it's going to be the White Tower, but a bit safer closer to home to protect the farms. So we're probably going to be seeing a bit of a transition away from the Gilded Horsemen here for puppypaw, and it's going to be crossbows and man-at-arms. Man-at-arms makes a lot of sense, obviously he's getting a discount on them. Loses the king in the end. Alright, White Tower is up now for the English, taking care of the horsemen. And first relic coming on in here for puppypaw. Now, if puppypaw does scale quite heavily into crossbows, whilst generally mangonels and siege is not great against Order of the Dragon infantry, just purely because of the pool of HP they get, it's hard to snipe, and you know, big shots don't necessarily always happen. Without Bodkin Arrow, maybe there's more of an indication to go for those mangonels. But we'll see exactly what puppypaw decides to do army composition wise. Definite play into man-at-arms for sure. English king returns to the field, but he's had a tough time today, I've got to say. Crossbow going to be poked and prod behind the trees, behind the bushes. I'm afraid he's not going to make it home. Making a move for the north there, puppypaw. He's got 3 of the relics already, which is really significant. Imagine if he had the Regnant's Cathedral. Not that he needs it. He's got the Burger Palace cheaper units. So it's definitely a nice bonus. Looking to even get the Sacred Sites. Maybe not. Just path. Yeah, he's actually getting them. Looks like Louis making a move down through the middle, and all things considered, like, with only staying 1 town centre for the English, it's a really tricky situation, right? Because it feels like if you're playing English and you're only 1 town centre, it feels like you have to be aggressive. But puppypaw, with the Burger Palace, is being able to pump out units and protect multiple areas of the map more effectively because of it. It means that the feudal age aggression, or the castle age aggression, just sheer aggression anyway from the English, has been a little bit more underwhelming. Not necessarily because of LoueMT's playstyle, it's more because the puppypaw has been able to make more units than you'd expect. All down to the Burger Palace. Alright, let's go over to the food income per minute. Pretty equal, neck and neck on that regard. Unit numbers looking really good here for puppypaw, I've got to say, all things considered. Like, you don't usually expect these numbers, but they're looking good. Man-at-arms attacking. He has a good number of crossbows though, the English, so should start to take down those man-at-arms a little bit. They're tanking though. Allows the crossbows for the Order of the Dragon to be a bit of a work, and English King dies once again to the man-at-arms. It's happened quite often here today, I'm afraid. LoueMT not spotting the King dying several occasions. Oh, it's a good pick off though. Pick off a villager or 2. Prentice might be able to escape. We'll definitely see a commitment to prelate production. Quite possible he's got inspired warriors, or he's getting it now. There we go, yeah. He's looking to take advantage of this. I really love this upgrade, by the way. It really helps out during fights, which we're probably about to see very soon. It has to do with the longbows, though. It's finding it difficult. Wasn't able to keep the crossbow alive in the end. Although this one healing up. The man-at-arms will take care of this in the end. Just need to make sure the crossbow survives. The crossbow should survive. In the middle, though, taking the fight. Palisade walls are there for the English. Giving them a little bit of respite, but the ranged units for puppypaw are starting to build up a little bit. Looking to get a couple of outposts as well. So both players going to be making a dash for the middle before too long. Sacred Site in the north, giving passive gold. Sacred Site in the south, up for grabs. I do love the fact that, you know, LoueMT is just trying to hamper the food income a little bit, but it's pretty safe and secure now. Going on stone, I wonder if he's going to go for a keep in the front. No, he's putting the villagers away. Maybe just some placements in the outpost, potentially. We'll have to see. Now, what's actually kind of cool to think about, if the game lasts another 20 minutes, you could potentially see puppypaw go for a Palace of Swabia, really scale that economy. And it's tougher for the English, right? Because, you know, it's expensive to get town centres, and he's on 1 town centre for quite some time now. We'll see how this pans out. Already starting to escalate units in the middle. Contesting the Sacred Site in the north, but he's had that for a while, puppypaw, so definitely had some value from it. Thank you for the follow, Major Dark. Welcome on in on Twitch chat. Appreciate you, dude. There's a double outpost. Looks like it's going to be crossbows, man-at-arms, added in a little bit there. Actually, mostly spearmen, to be fair. Actually, I don't think there aren't any man at arms at all. 4 somewhere. There are a couple added into the mix. Sacred Site neutralized in the north. Meanwhile, the middle one's been captured. Okay, now this is where things get really dicey for the English. And the reason why, I really love the Scholar plate or the Prelate plate into Inspired Warriors. And also probably Herbal Medicine. And the reason why it's so good... Okay, I hasn't got that yet. But I would love to see that in play. The reason why is because these units, they have such a big pool of HP. It's very hard for them to die one-shotted. It will take the whole army just to try and take one shot to kill these units. And if you can't one-shot kill these units, they're going to be able to heal up. And you extract a lot of value with that. Yeah, I mentioned in chat, puppypaw still no blacksmith. I think, of course, it will come a point where the number of units you have, it will start to pay you back. But I got to agree, like, I don't think blacksmith upgrades are all that important for the Order of the Dragon. Obviously, you want to get them eventually. I'm slowly getting to that point. Oh god, another sniping, right? It's so unforgiving. These crossbows, they do so much damage. 18 base damage plus 18 extra against heavy units. It's so good. And that's why I love the crossbowmen a lot. You can see how much damage they do against heavily armored units. But even as base damage, they do decent work, even when you compare them against archers. It's going to the Elsbach Palace instead of the Palace of Swabia, so really not going for the meta plays. But certainly, if it was a different civilization, you definitely want those blacksmith upgrades for sure. Now, Elsbach Palace is really going to solidify that position. Outposts have been upgraded. That's where the stone income went. Palisading down the south here, LoueMT looking to see this game into the late game, which becomes interesting actually, because you've got enclosures as the English, going to be a really nice, good source of gold. The HRE, or the Order of the Dragon, I should say, have 3 relics and a sacred site, which is definitely going to be great. I'm not sure it's going to be on par with the enclosures though. I mean, obviously it depends on how many farms you have ultimately. And there is the Imperial Age for puppypaw, and this is a tricky one, right? Because LoueMT has a decision on his hands. Does he try and push in now and try and see the game out whilst he's in the Castle Age? Or does he try and do some damage? The trouble is, he's going to find it very difficult to do damage. I think he has to go to the Imperial Age because this Elsbach Palace will buy some time, especially when you factor in emergency repairs. Sure, there's 3 trebuchets. It will still take time. In fact, there's only 2 trebuchets. That's Maganel, I think. He's pushing on in anyway. He wants to take down the static defenses on the right. Just pitter poking, prodding. King dies again. I've lost count. Holy smokes. How many times has he lost the king? And the upgrades not in just yet. They're so expensive, but they're going to be coming in soon, I would have thought. It feels like puppypaw needs more production buildings, I've got to say. He's floating a bit of food, floating a bit of gold. Possibly needs to just wait for those upgrades. He's struggling on gold, actually, overall things concerned. There's a lot of prelates. You can see Inspired Warriors working. They deal 15% extra damage, plus gain 1 armor. Now, imagine... This is the crazy thing about having crossbows. I feel like there's a combination. I casted a game recently. Now, it's not relevant in this game because it doesn't have the Mineral Palace, but Bodkin Arrow with Crossbowman, adding in the extra 15% damage from Inspired Warriors. Imagine that. Bodkin Arrows and Inspired Warriors on the crossbows. It's actually phenomenal. It leaves the opponent with only 1 play, which is Horseman, and that's easy to counter. Louis added in a second TC just to scale that economy. But it always feels a bit rough if you're adding in a second TC at 24 minutes in the game. Man at Arms is trying to keep things open, but won't happen. We'll get the Palisades eventually, I suspect. 2 Culverins over for the Order of the Dragon. This is looking dicey for LoueMT. I think he's just trying to get his way to the Imperial Age, right? We kind of expected that to be the case, but it's allowed puppypaw to get a lot of map control. It's got a lot of food coming on in as well. Yarkin Chapel doing its work. He's spamming some outposts as well. It's going to be the Berkshire Palace. Where's he placing it? Yeah, he's trying to place it as far forward as possible. Puppypaw knows about it, and he's going to go and attack it. Culverins and the Man-at-Arms. Big fight we're expecting to see. He's taking engagement. Mangonel on the back line, though, for the English. King dies really quickly. He tried to lead the fight, but fortunately got absolutely smashed. Man-at-Arms tanking that front line for the English, but look at the gilded crossbows. They're going to rip through them really quickly. He's retreating a little bit. I mean, there's no real way, no reason to force this Puppypaw. Just wants to take the best possible trade as possible. He backs away for now. Berkshire will go up in the end, so Louis does have a staging ground to attack from. Which will certainly be beneficial, but I think now, at this point, Puppypaw needs to find a way to break through that defense. That's a good pushback, though, for LoueMT, I've got to say, overall concerned. And Puppypaw got a lot of food and gold in the bank. It feels like he's really struggling in production, though. Going for some more siege workshops. Granted, he's nearly reaching population capacity. There's a couple of units trying to raid here for LoueMT. And I think this play is actually a nice play for LoueMT. It's a lot more amenable because, you know, with all of the Dragon have Palace of Swabia, it's almost impossible to be able to raid your enemy to death. Palace of Swabia, you kill one villager, another two pop out, so not really a problem, but obviously he doesn't have the Palace of Swabia here, Puppypaw. So LoueMT looking to leverage that fact. He's getting enclosures now, looking to get those eco upgrades, looking to stonewall just to make sure he stalls the game out for as long as possible. Then it could start to become a gold game. I'm a bit surprised LoueMT's not picked up this relic, though. It's been there sitting for a while. Looks like Puppypaw going to get the 4th relic in the end. That could have been a decent amount of gold banked in from that relic, I've got to say, on the west side for LoueMT. Missing out on that for sure. Puppypaw, a lot of his army on the east side will give LoueMT a bit of time to kind of recuperate, recover, and regroup. He's got the trebuchets in range of the Elsback, but behind the palisades. There's actually Actually, is it in range of the Elsback? I'm not sure it is, actually. But I love the fact he's walling up. Keeps the trebuchets protected against the Culverins. I think it makes a lot of sense, right? You don't want to let those Culverins get value whilst, you know, you're just sitting there taking shots in the face. It looks like it's going to be a Treb war. And you kind of favour the Order of the Dragon in that specific regard. Now, bear in mind, it doesn't really look like there have been any upgrades to the trebuchets because it doesn't actually have a siege. Oh, there it is. I take it back. Shattering projectiles just but come on in. Going to be giving some area effect damage. Definitely beneficial for those trebuchets. I think it's been making most of the trebuchets from the landmarks, right? The White Tower and the Berkshire mostly. Take a bit of time for shattering projectiles to come on in. Getting a network of citadels as well, just to increase the attack speed. Quite significantly, mind you. Might be seeing a slow grind, actually, I've got to say. But towards that population capacity, I think it's go time, really. As long as he makes a lot more production buildings, he can probably start to attack, throw units into the fight. As long as he takes effective trades, LoueMT won't be able to replace his army at a similar rate. Instead, though, it's turned into a bit of a Treb war. The Berkshire Palace about to go down. It's on fire, flames. It's live to go down the next volley, I've got to say. He's struggling to keep it alive. Trying to repair, but there's only 5 villagers trying to make it work. It's got a lot of repair costs into this, and I think eventually it will go down. It's unfortunate. And that might be go time. As soon as this goes down, Puppypaw might look to be a bit more aggressive. Might just take one more volley. Down she goes, I think. Nope. There we go. Synchronized with the wall. Speaking of wall, the wall's going to be keeping Puppypaw out, at least in the north, for now. Yeah, the Culverins itching a bit further forward, especially with the stone walls going down. Although the Culverins a little bit exposed. He should be able to get away with at least one, maybe, but he's lost one already. Repairs come out with the villagers. He's engaging. Man-at-Arms diving on in for the order with the spearmen. Looking to challenge. Yeah, I was constantly trying to raid with the knight. The king has never really been able to get too much value from it. And what's kind of interesting in the game, actually, with gold becoming an issue, both players might start to expand to the edges of the map. Like you see Louis on the north. Keeping I love this play, by the way. Keeping the spearmen on the south. Just to make sure Puppypaw's not there. In fact, where is puppypaw getting most of his gold? He's still got gold in the back, to be fair, in his main base. I might look to try and venture out sooner rather than later. King goes down again. Just keeps dying. We've gone through multiple kings today. Man-at-arms diving on in, but, you know, a couple of gilded crossbows more than enough to deal with that. And slowly but surely, puppypaw is moving on forward. All lines have been retreated a little bit. Berkshire Palace being repaired, but this is just sunk wood, right? The wood repairs coming out is just buying time, I guess, but it's not active at the moment, so that's a lot of prelates. Mass healing. It gives you the Delhi vibes, right? Do you guys remember with Delhi scholars? Now it's going into Order of the Dragon. And he must have herbal medicine by now. Oh, he doesn't actually. Does he not feel like it's worth it? It feels like it's worth it. Especially when he got this number of prelates, but maybe it might have just missed it. Maybe he doesn't think it's valuable, but I feel like an extra 40% healing rate, 60% in fact. Holy smokes, that's more than I thought it would be. 60% is pretty decent. Alright, looks like he's had enough of having to deal with the repairs. He wants the trebuchets working elsewhere. Gold, a little bit exposed. Slowly but surely though, puppypaw is edging forward. He's taking down the stone walls. Good number of mangonels and culverins. Feels like puppypaw just has the better siege at this point. And that could be what wins him the game. He's raiding around the back though. Oh, this is looking a bit dicey. Elite Gilded Spearman is enough to cause a lot of damage against these villagers on the wood line. He's pushing on in. Culverins diving on in. Mangonels deploy. He's focusing on the White Tower now. Slowly but surely, LoueMT is being zoned out of the game. What's up, puppypaw? Keeping his area secured, safe at home with a couple of units as well. And puppypaw, fully population capped. So is LoueMT, to be fair, but he's finding it difficult to push this back. It's just so much siege. Getting outposts for some extra vision, which is exactly what you want going up against trebuchets. He should eventually clear this up, but it's caused a bit of idle time for sure. Trying to rebuild the stone walls, but I think those go down really quick. Only 2 landmarks remain. There's the town centre. And there's the Abbey of Kings. But just coming out to repair, but I mean, I don't think... Oh, mangonel shot on the villagers! Oh god, it's a decimation. And it's going to deny the walls. There's no way in. Treble wars continues. Now, the good thing for the English trebuchets, they do have shattering projectiles that could help a little bit, but it's taking the fight. Man-at-arms diving on in, trying to snipe out the siege as much as possible. Scholars, they're blocking and healing on up. Great front line. Man-at-arms diving on the siege. Is there enough? I'm not so sure. Mangonels continue to deploy. I don't think there's enough. Man-at-arms there for the English. They're dwindling in numbers. They're not able to take the fight. They're dead. They've gone, and those crossbows taking massive mangonel shots now. A couple of hand cannoneers added in for the English. But slowly but surely, puppypaw edging further forward once again, and the trebuchets are backing away. This is looking dicey for LoueMT. He's definitely having to focus down in the middle in the north, getting some stone. And, well, he doesn't need the stone. There it is. LoueMT, he taps out. The push was just unmatched. It just kept on going from the Order of the Dragon. The Order of the Dragon war machine continues. Hope you guys enjoyed this castle game on YouTube. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for all things Age of Empires 4.